All right, let's jump into it. See, the cool thing about privates is that you get that one-on-one coaching that you can never get if you were just in an ordinary class with a class size of, say, I don't know, 30 to 50 people. The best thing is you have that instructor that's giving you that feedback and that coaching based off of just a loose set of roles or combinations that maybe you wanted to go over in your head. Some stuff that you thought personally as a fighter that you wanted to brush up on, right? I had the craziest epiphany the other day when I was at jiu-jitsu. It's almost like the best thoughts come to you when you're deadbeat tired and you're gasping for air because now all the oxygen is like flowing to your brain, your CTE like driven brain. And so for us lizard people that are competitors in the BJJ or Muay Thai world, I found out something really awesome. And some of you guys probably already do this because I'm about to allude to a gym that I trained at over the summer last year that does this, and I didn't even realize it. My instructor for striking, Larry, he's amazing. And a lot of the times when I'm in class with him, he sends the advanced guys. He sends us over to the cage and has us do our warm-ups and our progressions based off of what he's already had us run through before. So he'll just say to us like, hey, run through your combo tree and go back and forth for 60 seconds and shark tank it. And then do boxing with takedown, shark tank that, right? Depending on like what he's feeling. And then he'll go over and teach fundamentals to the basic and the intermediate strikers. My other coach, JC, who corners me as well, he and I do no-gi together, and his no-gi is phenomenal. And I've mentioned to you guys in a previous video where he was also a pro MMA fighter, and he's had over, I want to say 28 or 29 fights. Correct me if I'm wrong, JC, in the comments if you're watching this, but his whole thing was that when we got to talking, I was like, how can I get more out of our time together in privates? And then it hit me. After Nogi, I was like, hey, why don't you come by for Friday sparring and then you can sit out of the cage and just yell at me of what I'm doing wrong, right? Like I had a gritty set of coaches growing up that would curse at me and do all sorts of crazy things, which I think most of us that grew up in the 90s had that. Now in today's day and age, I used to be a football coach in Richmond, and that has changed drastically and dramatically, both things. Like it's insane. You can't do anything to these kids today. They'll like literally cower up and claim emotional abuse or something crazy like that. But I digress. With JC and I, we talked about having him just stand outside of the cage and just helping me with things that were happening in live time. And guys, I can't begin to tell you how amazingly helpful that session was. I think I got more out of that session with him outside of the cage than any, like probably all of my privates combined with all the coaches that I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was that spectacular. He was telling me things that I subconsciously knew I was doing. Like when I'm going for a strike on a counter and I parry, I'm leaning back as I'm throwing. And sometimes I'm not even throwing all the way out and extending my arm. And I kept doing it because it was muscle memory for me, and I needed to change that habit. But the more I heard him outside of the cage yelling that to me, having that like epiphany of having a private during class was amazing. And the place that I learned that at without even realizing it was Boxer Gym in Miami. Shout out to Emilio, the Honey Badger. Guy's a phenomenal striking coach too, phenomenal MMA coach. He fought for one championship. If you guys know that fighting promotion, really well respected. It's like right there with the UFC. And when he was coaching me, and we were doing our Muay Thai warm-ups, I noticed adjacent to us warming up, there were a bunch of boxers that had their sparring session too, and their coaches were in their corner. And I thought it was interesting how while they were sparring, the coaches were giving them technique advice. And I'm like, man, that would be kind of nice to do back at home. But I was so new at the time with striking, I didn't even think that could be an option up until recently, because I'm like, it's just the way it goes. Privates are private. You do that in the comfort of your own, sanctioned time with that instructor. And yeah, it didn't dawn on me. And it's amazing, guys. Like, if you can get an instructor, if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, if you can get an instructor to just sit and watch you roll with somebody live, right? Upper belt, lower belt, it doesn't matter. Just let them watch you, and they will pick apart your technique like there's no tomorrow. And it makes you so much better. Like, after that session, now I'm so much more confident with shelling up and going forward into the void, as Mighty Mouse likes to call it, but into the void, and just throwing my strikes with ferocity, but not out of control. That was the other thing too that he helped me out with. He helped me just stay back, but not too far back where I'm leaning out of control, but shelling up and in, keeping that chin tucked, fully extending that arm and leaning into the void and forward pressuring against the opposition. And as the whole Friday spar session went on, as I rotated different partners, everything just felt more rhythmic. It felt more clean. And even that too, like, he told me, you got to throw your strikes like a metronome, on a beat of 4, like 4/4 count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, rhythmic, right? Boom, boom. And everything it just started to fall in place and click. And I'm like, that's the hole that I needed to fill. That's why I kept doing that extra half punch before retracting my arm all the way back and getting popped. It was like all those small little things, right? And that was just one session. I can't believe I waited this long to think about that. But guys, like, wow, if you haven't been able to integrate that style yet, let me know in the comments, like, if that's been your training program all along and I'm just so far out of it that I had no clue and I'm just being naive. But tell me if I helped you. Tell me if you're going to try it on your next class to bring an instructor for a private so that they can help you with your technique, because it makes a world of a difference when they're there. Now, there is time and place where you want to be secluded with an instructor and you can just focus on doing your one-on-one instruction that way. But guys, I highly recommend you bring that instructor with you, and you're going to find that it's a world of a difference. But guys, go ahead and like, subscribe, or comment. I don't want to put too much homework on your plate, but if you do all 3, you're the best. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys soon.